It's been a long 6 months with no One Piece content, and I've been going crazy. And to keep myself sane, I've been going back and watching some of my favorite One Piece moments. And I went back and watched the first time Luffy turned into Gear 5. And all I can say is, Gear 5 Luffy is built different. Now, I know some people might say,
well, we've been knowing Gear 5 Luffy is built different since he first came out.
well, that wasn't me. When I first watched Gear 5 Luffy for the first time, I'm not gonna lie, I was a hater. Everyone I know boo me. They gonna hate this trash take. But I was a hater when I first watched it. I thought it was goofy, the animation was whack, I thought the art style was ass, I just couldn't get down with it. But now that I went back and rewatched it, I can see I was missing out because this nigga really different. Gear 5 is definitely Luffy's best gear. Design wise, this is the best design ever because One Piece, when it comes to gears, they don't know how to design it. Gear 2 was alright, Gear 3 was kind of wonky when I first saw it, and Gear 4 was complete ass. That design was ugly as fuck. That dude looked like Donkey Kong. He had a small bottom and he was top heavy, and it was ugly, and they tried to redeem themselves by releasing Snake Man during Whole Cake Island arc, but still, I couldn't get down with Gear 4 at all. Now let's get into how Luffy turned Gear 5. Now if you don't know, Luffy was fighting this guy named Kaido, and this boy is built different. He was one of the strongest creatures to walk on that land, and when I first saw him, I said, I don't know how Luffy's gonna beat him, and I was right. Base form Luffy could not touch this nigga. He was getting hands left and right. Kaido kept knocking this nigga down, but for some reason, you know Luffy can't give up. He kept coming right back until the last one. Some CP0 nigga came out of nowhere, distracted Luffy in the middle of the fight. Kaido hits him mad hard, and Luffy actually dies. That's in that moment I thought the fight was done, but nope. That's when we hear this amazing drums, and Luffy comes back, and he's not the same Luffy no more. He got turned into Gear 5 Luffy, aka Nigga the Sun God. Okay, so obviously that's not the name of the form. The real name of the form is Nika the Sun God, but Oda knew what he was doing when he picked that name. It was close enough, but I wasn't tripping when I first heard it because Luffy been a real nigga since day one. So the first thing Luffy does when he turns into Gear 5 is he starts laughing, and I already knew that this form was the truth. So once he's done laughing, he starts looking around for Kaido, finds that boy down below, grabs that boy by the neck, yanks him up like he's a child, and this boy starts muscling up right in front of Kaido, and I knew that Kaido was cooked from that moment, and he hits Kaido with a 3-piece combo right then and there, and he wasn't done. After he done hitting Kaido with that 3-piece combo, he grabbed that boy around, hit him with a Batista bomb, and once he wasn't done with one Batista bomb, he started slamming this boy back and forth like Hulk was doing to Loki back in Avengers. He started slamming this boy back and forth. After he's done, this boy Kaido has a Looney Tunes lump on his head, and what does Luffy start doing? Starts laughing in this boy's face. He's just on the ground rolling while this boy Kaido has a lump right in his head. So as Luffy's just sitting here laughing in this nigga Kaido's face, Kaido's just not gonna sit here and take that disrespect. So Kaido charges up a blast and shoots it right at Luffy, and once Luffy notices that, this boy hits a Looney Tunes animation. Eyes pop right out of his skull, and in that moment when I saw that, I knew Luffy's gonna win because he just tapped into the Toon Force, and if you know about the Toon Force, you know you can't lose with that. Look at that boy Bugs Bunny, look at that boy SpongeBob. They all got the Toon Force and they never die. So once I saw that, I knew Luffy got this in the bag. So once the blast is coming at him, Luffy decides to grab the ground, and this boy hits a moonwalk in midair, looking like Michael Jackson in his prime. Hits a moonwalk in midair, and then he stretches the ground up, deflecting the blast that's coming right at him back at Kaido, and hit him with a Uno reverse. Kaido now has got hit by his own blast, and what does Luffy do when Kaido gets hit by his own blast? This boy starts laughing again right in Kaido's face. So as Luffy's just sitting here laughing in Kaido's face once again, Kaido is just not gonna sit here and take the disrespect. This is the strongest creature in One Piece. He's not just gonna sit here and let a nigga laugh in his face. So he decides to eat Luffy. But if you know anything about anime, you know that's not gonna work. As he ate Luffy, Luffy just inside of him now beating him up. He's giving him the work from the inside. He's stretching his body out. He's hitting him with left-right combos, and Kaido just feeling all that pain. And while Luffy's inside of him, he notices 2 small lights up ahead. And what does he decide to do? He decides to stretch his arm out and grab those 2 small lights. And what are those 2 small lights? Those were Kaido's eyes. This boy Luffy is straight disrespectful. He grabbed this boy Kaido's eyes from the inside of his body, and once he grabbed those eyes, he slingshotted himself out by using Kaido's eyes as a propeller. And when I saw that, I couldn't believe my eyes. I had to step away from my seat because I'm like, oh nah, This boy straight disrespectful. He don't respect no one. This boy Kaido is the strongest creature in One Piece, and he getting manhandled by a 17-year-old kid. So once Luffy gets out of Kaido's mouth, he releases all the air out of his body, and the next time we see Luffy, he's this giant figure. And when I saw this, I thought it was over for Kaido. I said no way in hell he gonna beat this gigantic Gear 5 figure of Luffy. But what does Kaido do? He just straight up bites Luffy. But Luffy not gonna sit here and get bitten up again. He punches Kaido in the head and starts doing the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in anime. This was the top 5 most disrespectful things I've ever seen in anime. He starts using this boy Kaido as a jump rope. And once he's doing that, Kaido is not going to sit here and let this boy toy around with him in the middle of the fight. He shoots a beam at Luffy. Luffy gets hit by the beam, and he literally just shakes off the beam and starts running full speed at Kaido. And once he's coming full speed at Kaido, Kaido is just not going to sit here and wait for Luffy to hit him. He starts dashing forward himself, and he punches Luffy with the craziest punch I'd ever seen. I knew this punch was crazy because the people that were down below could see it from the outside. There was this purple beam just shining right above him, and I know, oh my god, this boy Luffy's probably dead, because we've seen him get hit with something crazy like that before, and he literally died. But this time all he had was a lump on his head, and that's when I knew, yup, Gear 5 is the truth. Kaido can't take out Luffy Gear 5. So after Luffy got this fat ass knot on his head, he's talking shit to Kaido saying, I ain't even tired yet, I haven't even hit my limit yet. But we knew that was cap, because after he instantly said that, he reverted back into normal form, and then he aged about 80 years. And Kaido just looking at him like, oh yeah, I knew you couldn't last that long. And then Kaido actually falls down to his knees, and he realizes how the hits he took and all the damage he took. He's starting to feel the pain. And then Luffy out of nowhere, as he's sitting there laying down, be like, oh yeah, I almost died. He randomly gets some 3 a.m. motivation and just reverts back into Gear 5 and looks fully energized again. So after Luffy reverts back into Gear 5, him and Kaido start rushing each other. And Luffy just running like he don't got a care in the world, and Kaido spawns in right behind him and smacks him right in the back of his head with his mallet. But that really ain't do nothing to Luffy, because he made out of rubber. He just molded his face into the mallet shape. But Luffy running around panicking because his face is messed up now, and Kaido ain't letting up. He comes right again and hits Luffy again on the top of his head. But Luffy really ate those 2 hits like they were nothing. He ate them like it was dinner, because after he got hit by those second attack, he jumped straight up again, laughed in Kaido's face, weaved Kaido's attack, and then started hitting the Sonic Run after him. After he did that, he pulled the ground up once again and started bouncing back and forth on him like walls, and then hit Kaido with the craziest shot in the gut, and leaving this boy Kaido winded. So Luffy and Kaido start charging each other, and once they start charging each other, Luffy hits Kaido with the craziest punch in the world, denting this boy's face. And Kaido was shocked by this punch. He starts grabbing his face. He don't know what happened to him. And then Luffy just sitting there like, what should I name this attack I just hit him with? Basically making fun of Kaido in this boy's face. And Kaido's just sitting there in disbelief saying, what the hell are you? And this boy Luffy says the coldest thing. Monkey D. Luffy. After that, they're in the final attack. Luffy's getting powered up by everyone on this island. They're all screaming, go Luffy, go. It's turning into basically a spirit bomb thing. They're all telling him, go Luffy, go, you could beat Kaido. And Luffy's getting these people's energy. They're all hyping him up. He's gearing up for the final attack. He's in 3rd gear. He got armored haki on. Him and Kaido are charging each other, and he punches Kaido crazy. He is denting this boy's face. He is cementing him on the ground. Kaido don't know what to do. This hit really sent Kaido to the ER. When I'm watching this, I'm like, oh yeah, Toa cooked with this animation, because this was the most peak animation I seen. And I knew at this moment that Luffy got Black Force energy, because throughout this whole fight, not only was he laughing at this boy's Kaido's face, not only was he making fun of him, not only was he trolling the fight, but when it was time for him to get serious, he got down and serious. And that's at that moment I respect Luffy. He is the top 10 most Black Force energy nigga in anime. But other than that, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below what your thoughts are on Gear 5. But other than that, it's your boy Midnight, and I'm out. Peace out.